Good morning everyone. Today we're going to be talking about what to farm for the next couple of weeks, because I know a lot of people are asking, Kero, should I be farming for augment? Should I be farming for capsules, for gear, for weapons? What exactly should I be doing in order to take full advantage of all of these boosts that we are getting? But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing that I need everyone to pay attention to is the Super Treasure Scratch as well as the pre-announced urgent quest. This is literally coming in 2 days. As we can see over here, it's actually going to start at 3 AM my time on April 29th on a Monday. However, if you live in the US or in Europe, it's actually going to start on your Sunday, alright? So basically, once this kicks in, we're going to have 2 weeks where we have the treasure scratch as well as the pre-announced urgent quest. Now, the pre-announced urgent quest is relatively straightforward. We can complete each urgent quest twice, and all of the enemies will be nerfed. Their HP will be decreased by 30%, so you can blaze through all of these urgent quests incredibly easily. However, on top of that, when you complete an urgent quest throughout this period, so basically the next 2 weeks, you will obtain treasure scratch tickets, which you can actually use in the actual treasure scratch. And normally this doesn't really matter that much because the items in the treasure scratch is like, 3-day shop pass at 0.001%. However, this time they have added a couple new items. So when we scroll down over here, some items available for the treasure scratch. First of all, of course, we've got the personal shop use 3 days. This is nothing new. However, these items here are new. So first of all, we get the preset skill enhanced success and substitute level 2. I'm a little bit salty about this, but it's free for everyone, so I'm kind of happy for everyone at the same time. But I spent 5,000 star gems on the SG scratch to get a bunch of these preset enhancement successes and substitutes. However, you guys can essentially get this for free. So I kind of just threw away 5,000 star gems, but nevertheless, I'm happy for you guys, and well, I'm happy for myself as well, because I'm going to be abusing the living daylights out of this to get a bunch of these. So that's going to be pretty nice. There is going to be a bunch of end augment item protections. This is also super useful, especially for the players who do want end game augments. I know a lot of people, I've been seeing other players run Darkfall's Dalian over and over, and they kind of get motivated a little bit, and they're like, hey, I want to upgrade my gear. I also want to be able to do Darkfall's Dalian. The end augment item protections will help you get there a lot easier, simply because you will only need 1 capsule. So let's say that Gland Gigas Maste, it's 8 million for a capsule. If you actually bought 10 of them, that would cost you 80 million to guarantee that augment. So the more economical way is to buy 1 capsule, 1 Gland Gigas Maste, and use the end augment item protection to gamble. So if it fails, you still keep the augment. The Gland Gigas Maste doesn't go poof and fly away into the ether. It stays in your inventory if you fail, and so you can try multiple times until it finally sticks onto your armor. So these are incredibly important and will help you save a lot of money. So you definitely want to pick up as many of these as possible. The next one is the TA customization Disc X. This one's not a big deal, it really doesn't matter. However, what surprised me is the C Astrio S. This capsule over here gives you 5 million EXP. If you guys remember yesterday's video, I show you a way on how to get like 9.8 million EXP on a Golden Prim Sword 2. However, this is a much easier way. You simply just slap this augment onto any weapon that you want, and then boom, that weapon immediately gives you 5 million EXP when you're using it for enhancing a weapon or armor. Alright, so that is very useful. This capsule is normally locked behind a paywall. You need to be a cash user in order to get this. So I'm very surprised to see this being offered to regular free-to-play members, and that we actually have a method to obtain these. So the treasure scratch is absolutely loaded with all of these items, so you definitely want to make sure that you do your dailies and you do the urgent quests whenever it comes up. And the reason is because if you were to do your dailies every single day throughout the event period, you can get up to 96 treasure scratch tickets. I think it's actually going to be more like 90 and not 96 because, you know, at 3 a.m. my time, I don't think the dailies have reset then anyway for me. So I'm just going to play on the safe side. I'm going to say that we get 90 treasure scratch tickets. So nevertheless, that is still a lot of scratches. So you really want to make sure that you do your dailies every single day throughout the event period to get those 90 tickets. And then on top of that, we do have the scheduled urgent quest, and we get more treasure scratch tickets every time you do the urgent quest. So if we scroll down a little bit over here, as you can see, it does auto convert into your local time zone and tells you when all of these urgent quests are happening. So you want to make sure that you do as many as you can in order to guarantee even more treasure scratch tickets so that you can, you know, basically obtain all those super rare items over here that I have just talked about. But nevertheless, I will leave the link to this website in the description below so that you can check out your local time zone since it auto converts. But this is absolutely OP. You know, this is just really nice. With all of these items over here, you definitely want to take full advantage of this. However, also do not forget, at the exact same time, we are also getting the Super Boost campaign. It also starts at 3 a.m. my time on April 29th and lasts exactly 2 weeks just like the other event. And it's applicable to all quests and will give us rare drop rate plus 150% as well as the fix-a drop rate plus 150%. So this is absolutely awesome. You want to take full advantage of all of this rare drop rate. So now begs the question of, okay, Kero, there's all of these boosts coming in. It looks really good. I want to play the game, but what exactly should I be farming? For the average player, you know, let's say that you play maybe an hour a day or less. The very first priority is your dailies. You want to make sure that you complete all of your dailies, that you do the limited time task over here to guarantee your anniversary special scratch tickets, as well as your reward box medals, all right? So your dailies, number one priority, you want to make sure that you do all of those. Your weeklies, second priority, because again, you get a bunch of meseta from this. Remember, all of your weeklies give you a significant amount of meseta, and you also get some star gems and stuff like that. So you do want to make sure that you do as many as you can. Now, of course, Suppressed Darkfall's Dallion isn't achievable by everyone, so if you can't do it, not a big deal, just skip it. Once that is done, and if you want to play even more, I do recommend running the limited time quest over and over and over. The reason for this is because, again, you can get a bunch of anniversary special scratch tickets because the scratch ticket does have a lot of really high value items, which is really awesome. You're going to get seasonal points, you're going to get a bunch of LC capsules, and if you get lucky, you might get a Wingguard weapon. So, you know, this is for the average player. I would probably farm for this. Now, if farming the limited time quest is not your cup of tea, dex base for raw meseta and seasonal points. This is the next best thing, because with raw meseta, you can buy anything you want. You want hairstyles, you want fashion, you want augments, you want gear. Meseta is king. It lets you buy anything that you want. So farming dex base is a great solution because you're getting seasonal points and you're getting money. And with all that extra rare drop rate, it's going to increase the meseta gain that you get because you're going to get more items or more trash items that you can auto sell or you can sell manually, which converts into even more meseta. However, if you don't like dex base, you can always go to Retem Al Noth. Retem Al Noth is still pretty dang good. You can still farm a ton of meseta over here. However, I do recommend dex base simply because the PSE bursts over here do last 10 seconds longer. So farming in dex base is going to be a little bit more efficient. Now for my more geared and slightly more hardcore players, you know, you can always spam Darkfall's Dallion, take advantage of that rare drop rate as well as the fixer drop rate in hopes to get a Wingguard weapon. I do believe that Planet Crusher Blitz or Darkfall's Dallion has the highest drop rate for the Wingguard weapon series. However, again, you know, the drop rate is relatively low, so you are going to be at the mercy of RNG. The only downside of Darkfall's Dallion is you have nothing to show for it other than the Wingguard weapon. So if you don't get the Wingguard weapon, you're kind of being pretty inefficient with your time. So for example, let's say someone farms an hour in dex base, they make 3 to 4 million meseta, versus you spending an hour at Darkfall's Dallion. If you don't get a Wingguard, you don't have anything to show for any profit at all. So, you know, that's the only downside about Darkfall's Dallion. However, if you are in an organized group and you're clearing this relatively quickly or consistently, then by all means, you can still farm this. Now for my friends who are a little bit more experimental and want to invest into the future, The Rare Gorge is not a bad idea. By killing all of the Recon Gigantics as well as all the Dread enemies, killing Veterans is going to be very important later down the line because of Dread Keeper 5. The Dread Keeper 5 prices have slowly but surely starting to go up because the supply is starting to run out as less and less people want to farm for Dread Keeper 5. The prices did go down a little bit slightly recently because of the event shop. So with the event shop, everyone bought their 10 Dread Keeper 5s, threw them onto the market, but the moment that all of these dry out, the prices are going to skyrocket back up to 100k relatively soon again. All right, so just keep that in mind. You know, you might want to prepare for the future, farm up a bunch of Dread Keeper 5s, hold them until the prices go back up. Or better yet, you can farm a bunch of Dread Keeper 5s and then do dual quest in order to craft them all into Grand Dread Keepers. So, you know, Grand Dread Keepers are currently going for 1 million. However, I do believe once this supply dries out, it will continue to go up in price. As you can see, there's not a lot actually. It goes pretty quickly to 1.5 million. So, you know, that is something that you might want to keep in mind because not a lot of people are farming these capsules over here, but a lot of people are definitely farming deck space for raw Meseta. Now, a question I get asked very frequently is, should I be farming for all of these high-end endgame capsules, such as Gland Gigas Master, Lux Hal Finale, Gladius Soul, the High Ale Dominas, the High Kavaris Dominas, Grand Dread Keeper, Gigas Master, and all of these things? Personally, I would not farm anything that requires you to do dual quest. So as we can see, when we want to craft Gland Gigas Master, you need these Fusia capsules. The Fusia capsules you can only obtain by farming dual quest. I would avoid that throughout the next couple of weeks. The reason I say this is because dual quest does not take advantage of the extra rare drop rate. You do not get additional Fusia capsules because of your higher rare drop rate, so you are kind of wasting that buff. So personally, I do not recommend people to run the dual quest. However, if you are fairly efficient with dual quest, maybe run it 10 a day. You know, if you're finishing each dual quest run in like under a minute, you know, 10 minutes a day of dual quest, that's not too bad. You know, that's an okay investment. You get a couple of your Fusia capsules and you slowly but surely make a couple Gigas Masters here, a couple Grand Dread Keepers, eventually a couple Gland Gigas Masters, and you slowly but surely accumulate a couple of these capsules every week. You know, maybe you make 1 or 2 every single week and you just slowly accumulate them, then it's not a big deal. However, I really wouldn't invest a significant amount of time running dual quest, especially with all of these boosts going on and, you know, with this treasure scratch tickets and all of these other great campaigns going on. You really want to farm those instead. And then when there's a dead moment, when there's nothing going on, then you go back to dual quest, because dual quest is never going to change. It's kind of just there. And you also need a specific set of gear to do dual quest. So personally, I don't really recommend it.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.